We'll go ahead seated on our mat. As you begin seated on your mat, find a position that's comfortable for you. And relax your shoulders, relax your face, and let yourself be in the present moment, connecting the mind and the body, and bringing your awareness to your breath. Notice where you feel your inhale the most. Maybe it's at your nostrils or the back of your throat. And then as you exhale, release all the air from your belly. Here I am. Let's take a deep breath together in your nose, if that's available to you today, and then out your mouth with a big sigh, if you'd like. Relaxing the shoulders back down. And then if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. Place your left hand down on the mat and reach your right arm up and over for a nice side stretch. Inhale to bring your breath to your rib cage, expanding your ribs. And then exhale all the way out as you bring your right arm down and then bring your left arm up and over for a nice side stretch on the other side. Again, inhale to fill and expand the rib cage. And then exhale all the way out. We'll go back to the other side, placing your left hand on the floor and reaching your right arm up and over your head. You can add the breath if you'd like. And as you exhale, we'll go back to the other side, reaching your left arm over your head, letting your face be soft and your gaze slightly down. And then back over to the other side again. And then back to center and coming to tabletop pose on your hands and knees. Placing your palms flat on the floor. Knees are about hips width apart. We'll go into cat-cow. So tucking the tailbone to round the spine, paying attention to each vertebrae till you get all the way up to the top of your neck, letting your head fall. And then tilting the tailbone up towards the ceiling as you bring an arch into each section of your spine, noticing if there's any sticky spots. And then again, rounding your spine out. Taking a nice deep breath. And then pointing the tailbone up to the ceiling as you arch. Do a couple more cat and cows on your own at the pace that feels good to you. Feeling free to pause at any spots that are sore or need extra stretching. Try to bring awareness to each vertebrae. And then as you come back to center, place your hands to the edges of your mat or even maybe a little bit further out and bend your elbows out to the side. And then we're going to just sway from side to side, kind of doing a loose stretch in your shoulder blades and in your chest, swaying from side to side with the elbows bent. Kind of feeling it out as it feels good in your body today. I like the nice stretch it brings to the front of my shoulders and to my upper back. And then coming back to center, place your hands back to the regular tabletop with them under your shoulders. And we're going to do an active thread the needle. So lift your left arm up towards the ceiling and then thread it through across your body behind your right arm, reaching towards the other side, and then reaching back up towards the ceiling, crossing it through behind your right arm and reaching to the other side, and then back up. And continue that way with repetitions on the pace that feels good for you, keeping it active the whole time. Really pressing into the mat with your right hand to stabilize that shoulder. And you can look up to the ceiling as you reach your arm up. Let's do one more. And then placing your left arm down, we'll go to the other side, reaching your right arm up, and then threading it through to the other side, reaching the whole time, and then reaching up and through to the other side. Again, remembering to press into the mat with the left hand, bringing stability to that shoulder. And letting the breath be steady. Let's do one more. And then place your right hand down and lean back with your toes tucked into an active child's pose. So reach your hands forward, not really letting your body slump down onto the floor this time, but maybe tent the fingers and really reach the arms forward. Get a nice stretch in the back and in the calves too, and the ankles with your toes tucked. Take a full inhale to expand the rib cage and then exhale all the way out. And go ahead and repeat that breath, giving a nice stretch from within. And then coming forward back into tabletop, bring your right foot forward into a low lunge. So in between your hands to start. Getting used to this position as it's our first lunge. And then bring your right hand into the inside of your right foot so that both hands are on the inside. And press your right knee against your right shoulder. So both your shoulder and your knees are pressing against each other, really activating your leg and your arm. And then press your left hand into the mat to stabilize that shoulder. And with your right hand, you're going to reach across the body and then up and across and then up. Paying attention to still press your right foot into the mat so your lunge is strong. And pressing the left hand into the mat as well as you reach across and then back up, giving a nice stretch to your mid back and your shoulder. Let's do one more together. And then place your hand on the outside of your right foot and we'll switch legs. So bringing your right leg back and bringing your left leg forward, back into that lunge, low lunge position. Getting used to the lunge in this side. Take a nice full breath here. And then bring both hands to the inside of your left foot and press your left shoulder against your left knee. Inhale and exhale. Really activating your shoulder, your arm, your leg. And then pressing your right hand against the mat, reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then reach it across to the right side and then up towards the ceiling. Being mindful to continue to press your left foot into the mat, not just slumping into the lunge, but keeping it active and doing the same with your right hand. Go as slow as you'd like or speed it up. Let's do one more. And then placing your hand back onto the outside of your left foot. Bring your left leg back, tuck your toes to come up into a plank, and then pressing back into downward dog. Paddle out the feet, getting a nice stretch in your ankles and your calves. Inhale and exhale. And then bring the right foot forward, back into a lunge position, but this time lifting your left knee up off the floor. Press into the right, press your right foot into the mat and reach your left leg back towards the wall behind you. Continue pressing the right foot into the mat and really reaching the left leg back. And then we'll just float our hands off the floor. So you're still in sort of a forward fold, but forward fold in your lunge, but your fingers are just floating off the floor. Inhale and exhale fully. Place your hands back down, step back into plank, and then into downward dog. Take a full breath here. And then bring your left foot forward with your knee of your right foot up off the ground. Press the left foot into the floor and reach your right foot back towards the wall behind you. Inhale and exhale. And then pressing the left foot into the mat, float your fingers up off the floor. Really press that foot into the mat and reach your right foot back towards the wall. See if you can feel it in your right glutes as you reach that foot back. And then bringing your hands to frame your left foot, step the left foot back, and again, press back into downward dog. Then let's go forward into plank. Take a full breath here. Back into downward dog. And then as you exhale, bring your right foot forward again into the lunge. This time, as you press your right foot into the mat, go ahead and float the fingers and then come all the way up into a high lunge. So your right foot or your right leg is at a 90-degree angle. The left leg is as straight as possible and really reach your left heel back towards the wall so that you get a nice stretch in your hip flexors and your psoas there. Your gaze can be forward, shoulders relaxed, face relaxed, and let all your energy go into really pressing that right foot into the floor and reaching your left heel back. Try to lengthen the back of your spine, the back of your neck. Let's take 2 more full breaths here. And as you exhale, frame the right foot with your hands, step back into plank, and then into downward dog. Inhale and exhale fully. And then as you move forward into plank, bring your left foot back into the lunge. And the same on the other side. Really press your left foot into the floor to float the fingers and then come all the way up into a high lunge. As you press your left foot into the floor, try to activate your hamstring and straighten the right leg to reach the heel back towards the wall behind you and get a nice stretch in your hip flexor. Inhale and exhale as you relax your shoulders, relax your face. Let all the energy go into your legs. On your next exhale, frame the left foot with your hands. Step back into plank. Inhale and exhale back into downward dog. Take a nice full breath here. And then bring your right hand towards the center of the mat and roll on to the side of your foot to come into a side plank. So in side plank, the hips are lifted off the floor. You can have your feet stacked on each other. You could set the inside knee down. Whatever feels good to you today. But once you find your position, reach your left arm over your head or up towards the ceiling. And really try to pull the left hips up towards the ceiling, creating space between the floor and your right hip. Relax the jaw. Really press your supporting hand into the floor to keep your shoulders stable. Like you have a line from your bottom hand up towards the top hand going into the ceiling. Inhale, and as you exhale, bring your left hand down, coming into plank, and then we'll go to the other side. I'll turn around so my back's not to you. But with your left hand at the center of the mat, your legs stacked or your knee down, go ahead and side plank on the other side. Think about a string pulling your right hips up towards the ceiling, creating space between the floor and your left hips. Press your left hand into the floor, trying to create space in the shoulder. Inhale, and as you exhale, come back down to plank, and then Press back into child's pose, keeping it active again, tenting the fingers and reaching your arms forward. Inhale, take a full exhale out. And then going back to placing your right hand in the center of the mat. We're going to go back to side plank, but this time keep your knee down, your right knee down. Press into the mat with your right hand, and then float the left leg up off the floor. So the left leg reaches to the wall behind you. Try to keep the face relaxed, the supporting shoulder strong, but not crouching up to your ears. You can flex the foot and reach that heel towards the wall. Then place your left foot down. Come back into plank or tabletop, and then we'll go to the other side. So placing your left hand towards the center of the mat, keeping the left knee down, and then floating the right foot up. Your right arm can be relaxed or reach that up too, if that feels good, or even over your head. Really extending the right leg, letting your heel reach toward the wall. And again, trying to create space between the floor and your left hip. Inhale and exhale to place the right foot down. And then again, we're going to go over to the other side with your right hand in the center of the mat. Right knee down, back into the same position we were in. Inhale and exhale as you float your left foot. And then tent the fingers of your right hand and try to float your right hand. So the left foot is floating, the right hand is floating, trying to balance, really challenging the strength of our glutes and our hip flexors. Maybe laughing. And coming back down, and then we'll do that on the other side. So placing your left hand down and your left knee. Preparing for another side plank where you lift your right leg up. Floating the right foot, and then tenting the fingers of your left hand. Floating the left hand. Trying to fix your gaze on a spot to balance. And then coming back down, coming into a child's pose, tucking your toes, reaching your arms forward. Inhale and exhale. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale and exhale as you come back into tabletop position. And then again, we're going to step your right foot forward, pressing your right foot into the mat, Tuck the toes of your back foot to come up into a high lunge. And then setting the left foot down so that you're in warrior two legs. So the right foot is facing towards the front of the mat, and the left foot is down. Really press each foot into the mat to make sure it activates the back of your legs. And then arms come out with palms up. And then reach the tips of your fingers towards the floor, giving a nice stretch in your wrists. Really extend those arms out from your shoulders and then reach your fingers towards the floor. Inhale and exhale. Take a couple of breaths here, getting a nice stretch for the wrists. And then bringing your arms down and turning towards the front of your mat, back into the lunge position. Really press that right foot into the mat and walk your left foot forward. And then begin to press your heel into the mat of your right foot to float your left foot up into a warrior three. So use a chair or a wall if you need to for balance and stability. Otherwise, you're really pressing that right foot into the mat. Hips can open up and the left foot reaches towards the back of the room. If you fall like me, just try to go back to it. And then you can also reach the arms out if that feels good. If that's too much, you can keep them on your hips or even in prayer. On your next exhale, go ahead and bend the right leg to set the left foot down. And then come to stand at the center of your mat. Feet are about hips width apart. And bring your weight into your right foot with your weight gently back into your into your left foot. Weight is gently back into your heels. And lift the right knee up. So really press into the mat with that left foot. Place your hand on the side of your hip to feel your hip move away from you as you press that leg into the mat. And then turn your right knee out and then back in. So you're getting some external rotation here. Not placing your foot onto your leg, but just letting it float. If it feels good, you can raise your arms up, reaching towards the ceiling. So we're kind of doing like an active tree position. Just remember to keep that left grounded leg stable, really pulling the side of your hip in. Let's inhale, and as you exhale, step your foot back down. Bring your arms down if they were raised. And then we're going to step the left leg forward on the mat to come into the lunge, high lunge. Press the left foot into the mat and then turn your right foot so that the toes are pointing forward, and we're in the warrior two position on this side. Let's inhale and exhale fully. And then reaching the arms out to the sides with your palms up and pointing your fingers towards the floor. Again, getting a nice stretch in the wrists. Maybe you even want to roll them out a little. Relax the face. Try not to scrunch your shoulders up towards your ears. Then on your next exhale, we'll turn back to the lunge. Getting stable, pressing your left foot into the mat, stepping the right foot forward until you're ready to float that foot up off the ground to balance in a warrior three. Again, you can reach the arms if you'd like, or bring them to your hips or to prayer. Really press that grounded leg into the mat, creating space in your hips, and reach the floating leg back towards the wall. Inhale and exhale fully. Keep your face relaxed. Keep your shoulders relaxed. On your next exhale, step your right foot back into the lunge, and then we'll bring our legs together to stand, about hips width apart. Let your body get used to this position. And bringing your weight back to your heels, begin to transfer your weight to the right foot, really trying to move the outside of your right hip away from your hand if it's placed there. And then bringing the left knee to the air. And then opening your knee and closing, getting some rotation in your hip. Trying to keep your balance if you're able. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face. Let's do a couple more. And then place your left foot down and spread your legs into a wide stance. Inhale and exhale as place your hands on your hips and bring your hips back behind you to come into kind of a half forward fold. And then we're going to tick-tock the pelvis. Continue to try and keep your weight back in your heels instead of falling forward into your toes. And keep the spine straight and long, chin is slightly tucked, and that pelvis just tick-tocks back and forth. Getting the hips some juicy movements after the stability and balance work. And then next time you're tucked to the right side, reach your left arm down and your right hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale as you come back to center, and then tick-tocking to the left, reaching your right arm down and your left arm up. And let's do it again to the other side, reaching your left arm down and right arm up. And then back to center and to the other side, right arm down, left arm up. And then bending your knees, placing your hands to the floor and placing your knees down onto the mat, coming to sit on your knees. Let's inhale together, expanding the rib cage, and then blow all the air out. And then Bringing your hands towards your heart and setting your hips down to the right side. And then coming up, setting your hips down to the left side. You can also place your hands onto the floor for stability, or you can try to just balance, going from the right to the left. Just back and forth. Let's do one more on each side. And then once you're on your left side, bring your legs to extend out in front of you. And then spread them wide. They don't have to go super wide, just in a place that's comfortable where you're able to stay seated. Let's take a nice inhale together and exhale. And then press your heels into the floor. The knees can be slightly bent as you provide an anchor for yourself. Take another nice full breath as you press the heels into the floor. And then reach your right arm forward, up and back. Right arm comes forward, up and back as you keep pressing your heels into the floor. This is very active. And if you find any cramping in your legs in this position, you could bring your legs closer together. You could also try sitting on a pillow. Reaching the whole time with your arm up and over, forward, up and back. And then bringing your right hand back down to the mat. Again, checking in with your legs, making sure your heels are still pressing down into the floor. And then reach the left hand forward, up and back. Repeating on the other side. Let's do one more. And then bring your legs together and we'll go ahead and turn on our mat. Grabbing your knees and letting yourself roll slowly down. Giving your spine a little massage as you bring yourself down to the floor. Take a nice inhale and exhale as you let your shoulders relax into the floor. Letting your spine and your hips relax and release. Bring your feet out to the sides of the mat. And open up your right knee so it falls to the right side and let the left knee follow. And then open the left knee so it falls to the left side and let your right knee follow. Slowly going back and forth, letting the top knee open up and then bring the other knee to follow. Your feet can be fully placed on the floor, or you could float your toes and just let your heels be down, whichever one feels better to you today. But letting your breath slow, letting your body start to release after all that active work. And then extend the left leg out onto the mat and cross your right leg over the left leg to get a deeper stretch in your back. You can open out the arms, spreading them horizontally. Letting your breath be calm. And then go ahead and come back to center, extending your right leg out and crossing your left leg over to the other side. And then when you're ready, you can extend the left leg, coming into a full supine resting position. Taking a nice full breath, letting your forehead relax, letting your cheeks relax and your ears, letting your full body fall gently into the mat as the ground holds you up. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your chest, relax your belly, relax your hips and your inner thighs. Relax your knees, your calves. Relax your ankles, the bottom of your feet, your arches, and your toes. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. You're welcome to relax as long as you're able today, of course. I'll read you a quote and then I'll end the video. A simple quote from Albert Einstein: learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. Thank you for practicing with me.